Hi guys, before we get started, I'd just like to remind you that if you liked this video, please thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, thumbs down. Feel free to subscribe. There's a notification button somewhere as well. You got to click. So click the red subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, this is a continuation of the one game a month video that I've been working on. So I hope you enjoy this one. I've no idea what's happening in this video because this is just a default bumper. But all will be revealed after the fade.
And so I got I got it working, but I'm not entirely happy with the way I got it working. Uh, Basically, um, I stopped using the layer mask. It Yeah, not super happy with that. But what I want to do is I want to uh, have so I have 16 by 9 there, so that means that each screen is going to be 32 by 18, and I want 5 screens. So 5 times 32 is 10 and 15 is 160. So 160 by 18. That's what I want it to be. So I want to say new, and it's going to be orthogonal, and it's going to be CSV. Right, left down is right, and then the width is going to be 160 tiles, and each tile is going to be 8 by 8, and the height is going to be 18 tiles. And so that's going to be this. If I Can I just fill it with that? So tile sets. I'm going to create a new tile set. Just a tile set image. Rows. Blocks. Okay. Test box. Tile width. So each tile is 16 pixels by 16 pixels. Yeah. Okay. And layers. I want to rename that one. Background, and then I want to fill. Why, why. Where? There we go. Okay, so that's how it's filled in all of these. So if I save this, so that's inside resources testing, and I save that as a JSON file, and I'm going to choose this as larger map. Save, and then I'm going to choose this, so that is index 0, index 1, so index 1, and a tile layer, platforms. I don't know why I called it platforms, but there we have it, folks. And I'm going to choose that one there, and then I'm just going to had this problem before, it wouldn't draw. Happily fills it in though. Do paint. I'm having so many problems today, and I really don't know why I'm having this many problems. So that's not right. So I don't. Is it because that's? Oh, there we go. That's why. Duh. Doy. Let's erase that. Okay. So we've got a much bigger um, platform. So if I go to here and then let's just draw. See, it's not letting me do it. What the heck? Um, on the background layer, it's not letting me draw anything. I mean, it lets me do the stamp thing, but it won't let me draw anything. Hey, okay, let's do that then. So let's do a really crappy tree here. And then we'll do the green one, and there we go. There's a really crappy tree. Okay, so you can see that it's quite a quite a large amount of. It's a larger map because the tiles are smaller. So if we go back into Unity and for the main controller here, um, no, it's not the right one. This one here. I want, what did I call it? Larger map. Uh, Larger map. So this should, in theory, do the right thing, but I think there's going to be an issue with height. Okay. So yeah, there is a problem with height, and also it's not bringing any of the index out of range. So it didn't like that. Why didn't it like that? Larger map, twos and zeros, height. Okay, so first things first, the height is weirdly offset. So let's fix that first of all. No, we need test level loader. We need, where's our draw blocks? This is it here. So our start Y is not the level height. It is in fact, let's take this down here, and the start Y is screen height in blocks divided by 2. Is that right? I think that's just the same, isn't it? Yeah, screen height in blocks divided by 2. And that should give us the right one there, so we should actually see blue. Yeah, okay, that's fine. And then the next problem we've got is that it's not drawing. Let me do this one. Try catch index out of range exception. Dot index out of range of exception. Print E. And let's see what that index is supposed to be. So I'll attach that to Unity. And we'll rebuild. And again, hopefully the sound is good. I can't hear anything because these are really tight, these headphones, so it's difficult to know what's going on. I do see the view meter is moving up and down, so that's good. Okay, So index is out of range. Sprite is 3. That's why. Okay. Because block does not have that there. So if I go to block and where are we? Yeah, snow, ground, and sky. And we also need to add grass as well. So we need to add green to that. So that gives us 0, 1, 2, and 3. And click on apply. And there we go. We get our tree. Exactly how we thought it was going to be. So if I go back to close tile, no, it didn't. It's just not there. So if I go back to here and I choose my block for here, oops, yeah, well, you get the idea anyway. Obviously, I'm going to make it a little bit better level than just that. So this will stop the player from falling. There you go. So now he's sitting there, and obviously the scene is like 5 screens long or whatever it is. Okay, so that's good. That means that we can use, if we can figure out why this is not terrain brush T. Is it because it only works in the background? Is that the reason? Or platforms? I thought that would allow me to stamp, flood. Okay, well, I got plenty of time to figure it out. So this means that I can have levels that are really any length, and we can vary them. So we could have like one screen or whatever. And we need to get into like a rudimentary left and right here. So let's remove some things from. Bizarrely, the erase tool is. Yeah, I think there's some weird things going on here. See, it doesn't look like it's erasing. Just me? I don't think it's just me. See, I'm actually erasing stuff there. Yeah. Let me close it down. Bring it back up again. Okay. And terrain, choose that one. Choose that. No, it just will not let me write it. But it lets me do it on this map. I swear it let me do it in this map. No, I mean I was drawing it on this map as the background though. So platforms. No, it's still not letting me draw it. Okay, that's weird. So will it work now? I don't want stamp, I want. See, it keeps going to stamp, but I don't want stamp, I just want, I don't know, who cares? We'll figure it out. We always figure it out. Seems to be doing the right thing from that kind of perspective. Okay. All right. So our player character, he's going to have a movement script on him. So let's have game controller, and then we'll have a folder here called locomotion. So locomotion is just sort of traditional game game development term, which means player movement. And I'm really going to put the physics thing to the test because I'm actually going to add locomotion. Because it's a rigid body, I think what I want to do is I want to add physics to him. So I want to have whatever the force is. So locomotion and actually let's call it h speed. New vector 3, and then the horizontal movement speed is going to be, I don't know, 10, 0, 0, something like that. And for the update, I'm going to say, I'm going to do this all in like multiple lines just to sort of keep it clear, and we can go and combine them later on, but I just want to do them in multiple lines just now. So input equals input dot get axis horizontal speed equals h speed times input times time dot delta time, and then I want to have actually I want to do wide awake rigid body 2D. Let's call it RB. RB dot get component rigid body 2D. So I'm gonna RB equals get component that. Okay. And I want to do RB dot if speed dot magnitude is greater than 0.1. So if they've tapped some value, I want to say RB dot add force, and it's going to be, no, it's vector 2. Okay, that makes sense. Add force speed, force mode 2D, add a force to the rigid body using its mass, and an instant force to the rigid body. Let's try impulse, see what happens. That's not the right one. This is the right one. Okay, so we should have why is he stuck? Is he stuck because he's stuck to the ground, or let's make it instead of a box collider 2D, let's remove that component, and then collider should be like a circle collider. Let's see if we can make that a little bit more freestanding. So probably float. No. Okay, that's a little bit smoother. See, for whatever reason, there's a bump there. See? It's like it's not perfectly square. That's bizarre. Oh, he's falling off the world now. And what's the difference between that and force? Force probably takes a long time to build up. Yeah, I'm holding down the key and it's taking forever. So impulse is the way forward. So the speed, what do we want the speed to be? Keep going back to there, should go back to here. Can we clamp the force if rb dot velocity dot magnitude is greater than 5? rb dot velocity dot normalize rb dot velocity rb dot velocity equals rb dot velocity times 5. So let's do cos float max velocity equals 5. And we'll see if it's greater than that, then we'll make it that. So just in case. So I don't know what 5 is in the grand scheme of things. Maybe it's going to be too slow, so he's going to like accelerate and then immediately just go to that maximum value. We'll see. Oh yeah, that was far too fast. The heck happened there? So we'll actually that's probably a bad idea. Let's, instead of saying normalize, let's say dot normalized. There we go. That might fix it. Okay, I think we can make it more than 5. Let's make it 7.5. Oops, 75. Wow, zooming all over the place. Okay, and we also want to move the camera as well. So we're gonna have camera movement here as well. So game, folder, camera, create full target camera. But we also want to restrict the movement of the camera. So public float min x equals 0. Date if transform.position.x is less than min x, transform.position equals new vector 3 0 comma transform.position.y transform.position.z. So clamp it minimum position. So it's always going to be minimum position. We're going to have to set a maximum position. To do set max position 2. So you're going to have to add a restriction once we load the level. So that's okay. Public transform target. So our target, so we have our main camera here, and we're just going to use this main camera and follow camera target, and our camera target is going to be guy. Excuse me, and we'll set this up inside our game controller. Follow cam. Tip the camera that follows the player around. And then we'll drag and drop that across so we know we have it. Just to be clear, this is not a tutorial on how to build something. This is just me faffing around, just trying to make a game. That's all. So, okay. So at some point, I'm going to bring this back. Follow camera. So to do set up player target, etc. Okay, so the main camera is that, and then the target, that's actually going to be late update. And then the position of the camera, transform.position equals vector3.lerp, and it is going to be the current position dot, and then it's going to be the target, and then it's going to be the time. So I'm going to mark that as being t. So var t equals time dot delta time divided by some arbitrary amount. So dampening time. Var dampening time equals 1f. So we'll make that a single floating point number just now. So so it'll be 1. So we make it half a second, then it will go faster. If we make it more than that, it will be slower. And we're going to transform from the current position to the target position. And so the camera should now, if we set everything up, minimum max, should follow the player. Okay, so we need to not move it on the Y. Well, where did everything go? Oops. So it's kind of. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Not a good, not a good position. Okay. So I want to say that var target pause equals target dot position. Target pause dot y equals 0. Target pause dot z equals transform dot position dot z. Because what's happening is it's transitioning on itself. So we're basically what the code is trying to do is it's saying when you move, we're tending towards that point, which is where the player is. So as soon as we get to that point, we're now looking beyond the player. So the player is now here, and we're looking that way. So that's why we need to calm these things down. And in fact, really what we want to do is we just want to say, we'll leave it at that just now, because we could make it in one vector call, which we'll make sure that it's working just now. Okay, so you can see that the camera is now following the player, albeit slowly and very jerkily. That's not good. So we'll make that 0.5. And we'll say new vector 3, and it's going to be target position dot x, and then it's going to be 0, y, and then whatever the current z position is. And then that gives us our target position there. Okay. Yeah, it's got to be okay. I don't like the fact it's kind of herky jerky. Yeah, and it needs to be further back as well. It needs to kind of lead. Yeah, and that's it, stop. That's good. So we know that it's getting to the end there. So I'm going to put some markers up here so we know where we're going to go. So let's stop the player from falling off the end of the world here. So we'll put them in a big cave like that, and then we'll do kind of like stalagmites, kind of like this, so we can sort of see things moving back and forth. I think that the issue is that with the drawing is that these are 16 by 16 blocks, not 8 by 8, and that's what the issue is. So I think once I resize the blocks, it'll be fine. But for now, it's stuck in there. The nice thing about using this tileout though is I can make changes here and then immediately go into Unity, and those changes get reflected in the file. So that's awesome. So there we go. We have our little cave scene here, and we scroll back there. So I don't think it's so he's going to stop and then he's going to be able to go there. So it's kind of, the idea is that I kind of want it to be, although I want to lead the player. So when they're moving to the right, I want the target position to be, so I want it like an offset almost. Okay. I want a kind of offset because I want it to feel a bit like, I'm probably not going to get it right, but I want it to feel a bit like the Mario camera. So he's too far over to the right. I want the target to be further over to his left, and similarly here. Because you want to be able to see what's coming ahead of you, if that makes sense. So like that is where he should be when he's doing the direction. I don't know why that's jerky though. I think it's something to do with late updates but I'm not. Am I doing the late update on locomotion? I don't think I am. Incoming message from the big giant head. Let me just turn this off. Okay. Oops. Not doing that. Oh, maybe. Actually, I know what it is. I think I need to do this on fixed update because this is a. Actually, I think I also need to do it here So I want to do void update that there, and then I want to say vector2 speed equals new vector xib vector 2.0. So I have my speed there. I then set the speed up inside the update, and then the physics update then ticks, and then we update that, and that should be it. I think that should make it less herky-jerky. I remember we had problems with this in another game I was doing, and it was 3D though. I don't see okay. The other thing is I do a lot of 2D stuff on like UI and things, um, but I very rarely use the 2D tools for Unity. I tend to my previous projects have been in 3D. So I'm not really used to using the 2D objects or rigid body 2D and all that kind of stuff. So this is more of this is why I want to do these kind of game jams, is so I can get more experience to do that. No, it's still herky jerky. Okay. Right, follow target camera. So the position is going to be position to the target position. So if I make that a quarter of the time, it should lead it a little bit further. I actually think the problem is that it's too fast. That does feel nice though. I really don't like these collisions. I don't understand why that's not, like, he's running along a flat surface and he's bumping around the whole time. I don't understand how the physics system can allow that. That's just the weirdest thing. I mean, obviously there's going to be sort of slight inconsistencies between these two things, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. Okay. All right, I think I need to do some. Let's see what it feels like in. Oh, oh no! I don't have my controller plugged in, and I'm all a mess of wires. Okay, here we go. I'm in. All right, here we go. And yeah, it just feels so bad. Why? Okay. Well, these are the problems to figure out for a later thing. So that's our minimum position. We also need to find out our maximum position. But we have the sort of basics of locomotion in there. What else can we do? We could probably do firing bullets. Actually, maybe jumping. So, let's have another game object. UI. Nope. Create empty, and then this is going to be ground probe. And again, I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to move that ground probe a little bit further down, so it's going to move it to here, and this is going to be I need a collider, but I need it to... Actually, do I need a collider? No, I don't think I do. I think I just need to recast a sphere from this point. Do I need a collider? Probe? No. Graphic raycaster, physics 2D raycaster. Oof. That looks way, way too big. Physics 2D raycaster. No. Remove component, and I guess I don't want that either. Alright, let's see what it says. Okay, so guy ground probe. Okay, so that's locomotion. So I want to add say locomotion. Let's just call it ground probe. I don't want him to be. I don't want him to do a double jump, basically. Transform probe point public public pool is on ground. Physics 2D dot ray cast sphere circle cast. There you go, circle cast or overlap circle. There you go, overlap circle, and it's going to be probe point dot position, and then radius is going to be 0.2, and the layer mask is going to be layer mask dot get. Now, is that a layer mask or is that the, who knows? Let's try layer to name platforms, because I'm only interested in the platforms one. And layer mask. Point radius. Okay. Layer to name. Oh, layer. Name to layer. That's the one. Okay. And bar collider. If collider, actually it should just be return collider not equal to null. So not equal to null means that I'm touching something. So that there, ground probe, okay, and then locomotion, probe, and we're going probe equals get component ground probe. If not on ground, and input dot get button down fire 1. So fire 1 is going to be our jump button to do jump. Okay. Actually, you want it to be is on ground. So if it's on the ground and you press the fire 1, then you want to jump. Ground probe. Okay. And Ground probe is gonna be on Guy, and ground probe needs a point in space to do that. Okay. So control, console. Okay, so I press A, nothing happens as usual. So I'll press that there, attach to Unity, Unity, and I will press A. There we go. Roll out circle, position there, layer mask, platforms, glider is null. Okay, glider is null. Why is that getting called? Oh, that's why. I need to have that round the other way. So I don't want this to be called all the time because that's going to slow the game down. I only want it to call. So here's a here's a little crazy thing. In order to optimize things in languages, there's certain things that it does. How can I be polite about this? That it shortcuts things. It shortcuts certain things. So what was happening there was it was calling this all the time. And the reason why it was calling this all the time is because this was the first thing in an and operation. So it says if this is true and this thing is true, then we want you to do this. Now, I don't want this to get called all the time, so I'm going to put this round the other way. So now what this says is if you've pressed the fire button and you're on the ground. So if this is false, this never gets called. And I can prove that because if I set a breakpoint there, if I stop it just now because it's going to get called all the time now anyway. So if I let it rebuild, attach to Unity, and then run it. So it's not getting called just now. So I can run around the map and nothing happens until I press the fire button and then it gets called. But it only gets called once or twice, depending on the double bounce of the thing. But that's it. That's all it gets called. It's not getting called any other time. If I change the order of it, and I bring it around this way, so that this is now first in the check, it's always going to run this to make sure if this is true or not. And if it is true, then it moves on to the next condition and says, okay, if that's true, I've got an and there. I'm gonna go for it. So I'm not pressing anything on the keyboard there. But if I go into here and I press attach to Unity, you see it just immediately hits it and it never stops hitting it. It just constantly hits that there. And so you really don't want that to happen. You want it to short circuit this because you don't want this to always be checked because raycasts are actually quite expensive. It's still not working, but that's the reason why I need to put it around the other way there. So let's do mask, get mask. Let's try that. I think it might actually be get mask. So I'm going to set a breakpoint there, and I'm going to turn this off, let it recompile. And run it here, and then attach to here. And okay, so I'm on the ground, press A, glider is that. Okay, so I'm on the ground. Awesome. So I press jump, 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 jump. Okay. So if I'm on the ground and I press the jump button, then I want to jump. So I'm going to do, I actually want to have a bool can jump equals true. So I'm going to say can jump and that. So if you can jump and the button's down and you're on the ground, do this. And then my coroutine is going to be start coroutine do jump. And then I'm going to have a I enumerator do jump. And then that is going to be rb dot add force whatever the jump speed is. So it's going to be vector 2 dot up times some force. And that's going to be force mode 2D. Force mode 2D impulse. Load force equals 10. We'll make it 10 just now. And then yield return new wait for seconds 0.25. So I want to wait for a quarter of a second before you can press before you get the ability to press can jump again. So can jump equals false. Can jump equals true. Okay. Actually, I want to set that to be false, and then in the start, narrator start while probe is on ground, yield return null, and jump equals true. So when we fall through the air at the start of the round, I don't want you to be able to press jump. I only want you to be able to press jump when you're on the ground. So while it's not on the ground, yield return null, and then eventually set can jump to be true. So you won't accidentally jump halfway through the start of the level. Okay. So I'm on the ground. There we go. So the linear speed has to be different from. You notice that you can jump up through here because I have things set on. So he's going to come down here. But he can't jump midair. That's the thing. When he's standing still, he can jump really high. So we're going to have to figure out how to. Actually, there's blocks I don't want him to jump through as well. Also, when he's running, he can't jump very high, which makes no sense because he can jump like that when he's standing still. I never can get over that bit though. And he's still a bit herky-jerky. I don't mind the 16 by 16 though for him. That seems okay. Still a bit buggy with that there, but that can get fixed in just a second by doing const float probe equals 0.1. So we'll make the probe radius 0.1, and we'll move the ground probe just a little bit further down. So we'll make that minus 0, minus 1. So we'll make that minus 1. So you've got to be really on the ground to fully appreciate that. There we go. Okay. Still skipping. All right. Yeah, that's kind of a bit of an issue. Okay. So I got that there. I'm doing that. I think we fire with fire 2. So it's got a fire. I think we can make him turn a little bit faster though. Camera, follow camera target, dampening time. Okay, so const float dampening 0.15. See if that makes it a little bit faster. I still want it to be he's a white blob just now, so it's not exactly he. Oh, that's better. Okay. It's good. I'm gonna make it 1 though. So what else can we do? So maybe we can do fire as well. Because we want to be able to shoot things. Because kind of the idea was it was going to be like a Contra meets Defender meets Ghost and Ghouls or Ghost and Goblins, that kind of idea. And it was going to take the wraparound thing from Defender and then mix it Ghost and Ghouls because it's Universal Studios bad guys, and then Grisor obviously, or not Grisor, Contra, because it's going to have the kind of run and gun aspect of things. The difference is that in one of the levels it's going to be mirrors rather than that, but that's okay. I mean, it's just an animation you're playing when you press the fire button. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. Hang on a sec, it's bugging me. That's better. Okay. So that's Guy, ground probe. So I think we can have him as that's the level map art, and then we're gonna have let's call this protagonist, and let's drag protagonist into there, and then I think what I want to do is I want to have like a start position. So I'm going to create a new level here. And I'm going to say this is an object layer. And this is going to be player start. Player start. That's the one. And that's the objects. I don't know what the difference is here. Select objects. Objects, player start. Insert tile. I don't know what any of these do. I really should read the manual for this thing. um, oh no, that's the wrong one. Okay, so that is player start. So I'm going to add that one to there. That looks good. And if I view the contents of it, I've got objects. ID equals 3, name equals blah. So this is the player start. So that's the player start layer. Let's call that spawn. So this is called spawn, and it is at 56.5, 96.5. I'm assuming we could probably figure that one out. So that is in layers. It's a weird way of doing it, but okay. So it does have X and Y, and it does have type object group. Okay, so that's type object group. So this is going to have a type in here, tile layer. Okay. All right. And then this is going to be objects here. And okay. I mean, I don't really care about anything else. I just need to know the spawn point. That's good. So if I run this, is it going to crash with that object layer in there now? Let's hope not. It did not. It was fine. And everything's okay. Okay. So I think the problem is that because you're okay, yeah, that's a bit of an issue. Yeah, I don't actually want it to be that far away. I want that to be quite close to it. So maybe I want that to be um, um, kind of there-ish. Apply so that you're right on it. Okay, that's better. Whee! Okay. Okay. So we need to get the spawn point in here. So this is There's going to be objects. Okay, so I need an object. And so I already have a name. That's fine. I just need an object. One. Okay. Let me just bring that over to there. And tiled file. And then each layer is going to be data, which is that one there. And we also need to have an objects as well, public. What we call this tiled object, objects, public struct. And what do we need? We need to so objects and array. So each one has got public string name, public int x, public int y. All right. So that is the tiled object, and we want to know where the player starts. So according to this, it's going to be 56.5. So I'm assuming that's going to be in pixels. So if I do 56.5 divided by 16, that gives us 3.5, whatever it is, which doesn't seem right. Where's this saying? So it does have a label against it. That's good. Let's delete that. So I think that is actually in pixels, because you can have it as like, yeah. Okay, so let's make that something sensible. Let's make it 0, 0 and see where it lands. Hmm. Hmm. Let's make it 16, 16. Puts it there. That is the weirdest place. Where's it? Is it because it's centered? Is it because the object is centered? Because that doesn't even explain 16 by 16 to me. I'm not sure how this is working this out. So y is 0. Okay, that makes sense. So I don't know how this is working this out. Objects, layers, player start. Okay, well, let me remove that object. Delete. And then I want to move this to being here. On. Yeah, I don't know. Let's make it 50 or 48. Keep the number some similar. 48 by 96. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Okay. Um, so draw blocks, and then that's the draw blocks one. We also want to have, um, so that is our level. We also need to know, yeah, do we want to pass in the level itself? I don't know if we do. Maybe we do. Um, Actually, maybe we just want to do public vector to player start get private set, and then player. Let's do inside here level tiles, and then we're going to do tiled file dot layers dot first or default, and then the layer is going to be l dot name dot equals player start. So that matches up with this thing here. Var player start layer equals that. If player start layer is not equal to null, player start layer dot objects dot first or default var player spawn equals first or default, and it's going to be l dot name dot equals player spawn. Let's call it spawn because it's called spawn over there. Spawn. Layer dot string dot is null or empty that, so it's not equal to that. If player spawn dot name is null or empty. We want to set the player start of there, so we're going to do level dot set player start, and it's going to be player spawn dot x player spawn dot y. And I'm going to generate that. And I'm going to say public vector to player spawn set. And then player spawn equals new vector 2 x y. Right. And so that means that we now have our game controller is now going to be an actual game controller. So I'm going to say public, let's put this at the top here. So I'm going to say public game object player prefab tooltip main players prefab to spawn when the level starts. And I'm going to say var copy equals instantiate player prefab copy dot transform dot position equals draw blocks dot player get player players start. Is this ever getting set? No, it's not. So that's going to be player start equals level dot player spawn. As long as we keep our lies consistent. I can't believe I changed that name. Never mind. Okay, so back inside Unity. So guy is this guy over here. I'll apply that there. Game controller. He is going to use guy. And oh, I got a breakpoint here. So 1632. So it is 16 along, 32 down. Player start is going to be there and there. So problem is that 1632 is if I change that to 32, you'll see that he falls down. So 16 is not the right size. So it's got to be divided by that. So it's got to be divided by tile width. Tile width divided by tile height. Which I think is probably still wrong. I mean, we'll sort this out. So he's coming in, but he's at the wrong side. Should be over here. The problem is I don't know what this corresponds to. I mean, that's for a start, that's not the right size. Oh, did I never save it? But that's not the right. So that's 0, 0 there, and that's some crazy height between here and here. Select objects. Okay. So this is. Wait a sec. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's 0 and 8. It makes no sense to me. Let me see if I can go back to layers from background. Horizontal offset, vertical offset, 1, 0, 156, 0. There's going to be a map properties. Map properties, here we go. Okay. Stagger axis. I don't know what that means. Background color. Tile width, tile height, tile side height. Orthogonal. Don't know. Left down, left right, that's okay. Yeah, I don't see anything leaping out here. Yeah, I should at some point read this, but actually I'm gonna knock it in the head just now. But that's okay. So the start position is, I'm gonna have to figure out the start position because it looks like it's tile based, but maybe not really. I I don't know. This is just a bizarro world. This, because this doesn't seem to match up with us. Anyway, I'm gonna go take a rest and read some documentation on this, and yeah, see what's what. So in the meantime, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.